Yeah, nah, bugger that. I love my kayak, but this seat is so low, and for this aging body it can be a little bit difficult getting up and down. You know that footage in my videos where I show you getting up and down in the kayak seat? Well, yeah, no, that's why I don't put it in there, because it's not a pretty sight, and when you're wobbling on the water it can be quite difficult sometimes. So what idiot in their right mind is going to put that in the video? However, I've decided that I've bought a second-hand boat seat, and I'm going to see if I can fit this to my kayak. It's going to be a total hack job once again. Just make it up as I go. See how we go. So I'm going to drag this back into the shade, because it is quite a warm day today. Heading up for high 20s or even low 30s, I think, I'm not sure. Perfectly calm and still, but yeah, very warm. Alright, now I've got to get back up. Ooh. Ooh. So here's my boat seat. Got a folding back rest. Even has drink holders and another space for holding stuff. It also swivels. How good is that? And on the bottom here I've got these adjustable mounts or legs which can come right out here on both sides, so I may be able to put this somewhere on the sloping sides of the kayak, but I'll take it over there and we'll have a little bit of a look. Cool seat though, and obviously going to sit a lot higher. Alright, let's take it over there. Okay, well, I've got the kayak set up under the shade of this plum tree. Not very nice plums. And I'm not sure what the lighting is like here, but you know, I'm a one-man band, so... Alright, well, I've got the seat sitting as is in the kayak, and obviously it's far too high at the moment. So, swivels nicely there, obviously. Got the cup holders. So I think what I'm going to have to do is remove the swivel base, which sits on a plate, and I'm going to have to remove this whole mechanism altogether and just leave myself with the plate, in which I'm going to have to fabricate something entirely new to sit that plate on. Now, I do have 4 wing nuts that I can utilise through the base plate for a quick release type situation. Of course, if I just put this kayak carried on the car upwards, then I can just leave the seat on. But it's always good to have the option to remove the seat, isn't it? Just in case. So I'll be putting these aside, keeping the wing nuts, leaving myself with the base plate of the swivel, and trying to fabricate something in here to sit the base plate on and to fit it with bolts, wing nuts, that kind of thing. What I think I really need is to be basically just clearing the high edges so that I can still swivel but not be so high. And if I'm at the level of the top of the sides, then I think that'll be a really good height. Alright, let's get on to removing these things. Alright, that's them out. Okay. 3 little bolts holding these pads on here. One missing. Alright, let's get them off. Okay, the base is removed. We're just left with the swivel base now. Now we just have to work out how we're going to fit our seat. So now I'll think about that. Time to think on that. So now that the cool change has come through and it's no longer a hot day, which is nice. We had a little bit of a thunderstorm come through, a little bit of rain cooled things down. I had to let it go for a little while. I've currently got it basically at the height that I need for clearance at the back here. I'll show you a close-up in a minute. It's significantly higher than the seat that literally just follows the mould of the kayak, but that's the minimum height I need. And of course this will all be subject to testing on the water to see whether or not I create too much wobble. If so, I'll pull it out, throw the other seat back in. But I'll take you through what I came up with. Another thing to note is my whiz-bang double cup holder and whatever, phone, wallet, that kind of thing. It interferes with here, so when I put that in there, that's how it's fitted. It sends it up a little bit and interferes with the swivel action. So I'm going to do a little cutaway of the plastic. You can see that line there, and then it won't interfere with the swivel, which I'll just show you the swivel action. I'll hold that down. Doesn't need to swivel too much. I'll probably just turn about that far if I'm reaching something in the back. I can't go all the way around. My legs would have to dangle out over the water. Okay, I'll do a little bit of a handheld show of what weird and wacky idea I came up with. I will note that the newer versions of these kayaks do have the adjustable seats, but they have indented in the moulds, so the mould of this kayak has been upgraded to include a adjustable seat, and that of course is not on this kayak, and so there really is no option unless you do a homemade version, which is what I'm doing. Alright, so I'll just remove the seat. Geez, we've got a lot of mozzies around now. Okay, ignore this base. This is just an example of the height I needed to sit the seat on. Now, that is the thickness I need though. 25mm thick. I guess about an inch. So until I find a suitable product or something that's 25mm thick that I can also shape to fit to this frame. As for this frame, it's pretty simple. I drilled a couple of holes into this kayak, Probably sacrilege, but it's the only idea I could come up with. And I took one half of a fold-out camp chair, where there's another one of these, and you know it's joined by a piece of fabric to make a little camp chair, and that's basically my frame. I'm going to get those, what do you call them? I might see if I can get a couple of metal grommets, maybe rubber grommets, just to go into this hole, and those will slide into. And here, you know those catches that you click on, something you just screw to either side, rather than screw this down permanently, that can just click into two little catches. I forget what they're called, but I'll show you when I find them. And that's it. My base, probably use those same catches on the base, so it could just be pulled off, or just the whole thing pulled out. And then of course the seat. So if I just put that back in for a moment. Roughly where it'll sit. As you can see, I get that little bit of clearance between the seat and the kayak mould. You may be able to just see the base under there, and of course do a bit of a swivel. It certainly sits very high, but that's fine. All I've got to do is get on the water and test it. If there's no, or not too much top end tussle from side to side, then I'll probably call it a success, and it'll be a hell of a lot easier to get into. Of course, once I've finished it all and secured it all down, I'll also do a sit down test. Ooh, I am getting eaten alive by mozzies here. So, all I have to do now is find my base material. It could be a timber, maybe a marine ply or something like that, or preferably a hard plastic type base in the thickness that I want. A little bit more thunder. Clouds are too high for rain. And then we'll go from there. Now I've got to get to and cut this plastic off the drink holder there. And I'll screw that on and do another look at that. See how it swivels. Okay. I'm going to cut this with tin snips, I think. Should get a fairly neat cut there. Here's the now old little camp seat. Alright, let's cut. There is our line. Let's start right here. I used to have left and right tin snips that would curve as you cut. I can't for the life of me work out where they are. Just follow that line. A little bit of a clean up with the knife. Never work towards you with a knife like I do. Need a bit of leverage. Let's put it down here near the femoral artery. Don't cut anywhere near your femoral artery, kids. Probably put a bit of sandpaper on that. What have we got? This will do. I swear, if you close one eye and look at this sideways with the other, you'd think it was factory made. Let's do the other one. Don't know if you heard that then. That was Australia's famous what the heck bird, otherwise known as the cockatoo. What the heck? See? I always think that while they're flying over in a flock, there's always one that screams out, "What the heck? What the heck?" It's like he didn't get the memo that they were going to change direction or something. And he sees them all flying off in a direction. He goes, "What the heck? What the heck?" Stupid cocky. Mozzies. Oh, I've got one buzzing my ear. Honestly, what purpose do they serve? I guess spreading disease, which one could argue could be population control, a natural population control, I don't know. But I can't for the life of me work out why we need mosquitoes. Ugh. Thunder keeps rolling. Alright, let's clean that one up. You are an annoying mozzie. That's a bigger thunder. It's pretty dark over that way. So now if you reopen that closed eye and close the one that you had open, with your slightly blurred vision of the reopened eye, straight out of the factory. Is it going to rain again on me? Still a little bit of interference at the back especially, so I am going to really go out here now, maybe even all the way down to here on both sides to take that away. The depth of the actual cup holder itself, I don't know if you can see that under there, it does tend to slide on top of the kayak, however it is loose. So I might put 2 screws into that side there, and that'll definitely lift it off the kayak there. Failing that, I may have to go a couple of millimeters higher, a few more millimeters, but we'll work that out. And now we have more thunder and the pitter-patter of rain. More rain coming through. Loud enough for you? Made in a factory. We're right here at home. I have been out for more than half a day, scouting around looking for all manner of bits and bobs to work out a way to attach this seat. I have found, at a marine store no less, a hard plastic base. Not exactly sure what it is. It's an outboard transom plate. I'm sure the boaties among you will know what that means. But anyway, it's super solid and hard, and I've just got to cut some round edges to follow the form of the kayak. And that will get attached to, now it's not as thick as what I needed, so I'm going to have to think of a packing situation or a raising packing situation. But that's going to fix to that metal frame, of which I'll then put the swivel seat on there and fix that to this. So I've got to get to and cut these rounded edges. I think a fine bladed jigsaw will do the trick. Okay folks, I'm battling a potential storm here, but I've finished my base setup and secured it to the kayak. So I'll show you what I've done there. I've removed the swivel base from the chair, ready to fit to this base. So I'll show you what I've done here. You can see the texture outline of where my you can see the texture outline of where my swivel base will go. We keep the base plate square, but the swivel is out of the on an angle at the moment, so I can get a screw in each of these things. So what I've done is I found this plate, of course, and I rounded it off here and here just to not interfere with the edges there. I'll slide it out. These are the two holes that I've drilled sacrilegiously into the plastic. This is my frame. One half of a camp chair, and I've had to use a 10mm spacer, but this is a piece of metal from a a heavy duty cupboard door slide, which I cut down and fixed it on the underside of the base so that I could have a 10mm rise so that my seat would still clear the back here. And then I put these two little door latch catches, whatnot, under there. So once I slide this back into the holes, push it in, I line it up with them, solid. Now if I was just to remove the seat, I could turn this upside down on the car, tie it down, or leave the seat on and just leave it upright, tying it down. And so that's it. I can also leave the seat on and take the whole thing out, seat and all. So now I have to line up this base with this texture. I positioned my seat so went by eye for as center as possible, and it's about there that I have to screw in each corner. Something thick and heavy duty, I would say. So I'm going to get onto that now. Solid as a rock. So I've used 4 hex head metal screws with a pilot hole, and these 2 back ones actually went into that metal spacer that I got in there. So this is so solid, super solid, it's not moving anywhere. Well, now it's time to put the seat back on. Alrighty, let's flip it over, pop it back in, and see how it looks. Simple process. Grab the seat where you can, find the holes, push it in, find the little catches, pop that in, well, we have very good clearance. But we forgot one thing. We need to put the drink holder on. So let's do that. Okay, does our drink holder cutout work? It's not bad, but if you remember, I was going to put a couple of screws in there, and if I do that, we get a lot more movement. We don't need a lot of movement. like I say, if I head all the way out here, it might be good for getting out of the kayak, but generally speaking you put two legs across here to balance yourself. It's just enough to reach around and grab something from behind. So I think I'm going to drive 2 screws into this. Keep that up nice and tight. Let's do that. Rather than run the risk of interfering with any kind of drink, I think I'll just do 2 on either side of this hole here. And I think that'll be plenty. Although, could go in here. Now let's do here. Have to be on a slight angle. Couple of flathead button screws, or button head flathead screws. There we go, that's nice and tight. There's still a little bit of restriction from the rod holder at the back, but there's no getting around that. And I also have the paddle holder there to secure the paddle to the boat. Mind you, I could put both of these on the other side if I really wanted to, and I might just do that. Yep, I could just swap out this handle with that handle. That's got the rubber thing on it, and then remove that and put that over that side. But I've never used the paddle holder anyway. It's pretty good. This is solid now. The seat is absolutely solid with the kayak. I get a little bit of movement and I get my much sought after height. Now whether or not this is too high, I don't know. I have ended up with probably about an 8mm gap above the plastic of the kayak here, and that's good clearance. Well, let's put it on the ground and see what we look like. Well, I'm certainly sitting higher. Feels good on the back. I do have my little tray table, which I sit my tackle box on, in this hole here, of which my legs normally go under when I'm down lower. But this feels comfortable enough. I'm not sure if they'll go under there. But I can always reposition that a little bit further back. I definitely hit this thing here. I could take that off. Like I say, I never use the paddle holder. I'd always put it on that side. Want to get something out the back. That is much easier now to reach around the back to grab something. So much easier. So far it's not an unmitigated disaster, it's good. If I go this way, I can pretty much do the same thing. No movement. It's a comfy seat. Considering the water is normally up to here, I can still easily dig into the water. Now I do have it chocked on either side to stop me from moving at the moment. I should take them out, see whether or not I've got any major wobble. Although I'm not in water, so I'm only on grass. Well, that's no different than normal. So being up higher is not making me topple. This could be a great success. I will finish this video with a water test, of course. And if that fails, I'll have my other seat. I'll rip this out and I'll put the other seat back in. But I'm very, very keen now to try it and see what it's like. Going out Sunday morning. So, I'll see you on the water. Now we got ourselves a tiny little fish. Tiny little bass. There we go. Tiny little bass. I did catch another one earlier. Not keepable, bigger than that one, but I didn't get it on camera. While I've got you here, I am in the boat seat, in the kayak. I've been in it all day since dark, early morning. I'm out here on the lake and river with my friend Adam. The boat seat is a complete success. I'm just as stable as I was down low. I am super more comfortable. I could do away with the drink holder because it is a little bit interfering, although I just haven't used it. I've still been using the center console drink holder. So I don't really need it, to be honest. So I'll probably get rid of that. It's now about, like I say, we've been out here all day long. I really haven't done any filming. I've done a little bit of underwater filming with the GoPro. But we've been out all day, getting bites here and there and just not catching anything. However, this is a project video. So, I know you can't see it, but, well, what I'll do, look at me sitting on my boat seat. I am that little bit higher, that's fine. I can see Russia from the lake. So yeah, brings us to the end of the boat seat in a kayak video. Absolute success. Thanks for watching, folks. See you next time.